Hello and welcome to Movies You Missed Podcast's first Christmas episode of the month of December here in 2025. John is very sad that this is only going to be one of 2 weeks of Christmas movies here this year. But if we had done all 5 weeks of December full of Christmas movies, I would have no more Christmas movies for our subsequent seasons.
Oh, I love Christmas.
I know, and it's your birthday.
Yes, it is.
Happy birthday,
Actually,
John.
today is my birthday. Thank you.
Yeah, that's why I said it.
It's my birthday. I am now no longer short from 40, everybody.
Oh.
Bah, mother frickin' humbug.
But we will not be premiering our new slogan until the first episode of 2026, so
Perfect.
stand by for that, folks.
Yes, do stand by. It's going to be a good one, too.
Oh my gosh, how come we didn't utilize our over 30 short from 40 saying last week, the last time we could have used it?
I don't know why. I think I was just slightly depressed at the fact that that day was coming a lot sooner than I thought.
I'm sure you're still not 39 somewhere. Say it one last time.
Oh, yeah. Over 30 short from 40 in Hawaii.
Yeah, that's right, folks.
So everywhere else is a day ahead or 3 hours ahead, and anyway, moving on. Merry Christmas, everybody. Christmas Eve.
You get a new decade for Christmas.
Woohoo! So nuts.
You're going to start falling apart next to me, I'm sure.
Very likely, yes.
No, it's okay. I'm very happy for you. Congratulations on making it to 40. As heart
Thank
patients,
you.
we always celebrate our birthdays because it is a
Yes, we
feat that
do.
we've gotten this old.
Yeah, I was in the car with my wife the other day and said, oh my gosh, I made it to 40. Well, not yet. It's a few days away, but here we are.
My friend's father once had a saying, and I still use it to this day. Are you old enough to realize just how young you really are?
Definitely. I still feel 26.
Well, you still act like you're 17, so that's perfect.
Oh, that's for sure. So my wife would actually argue that I still act like I'm 9 years old. So I am a child at heart, 100%.
Well, I'm so happy that for your birthday, I got you Christmas movies. One of your favorites, actually, you get to talk about today, which is great. So I'm
Yes.
glad that it does follow on one of your favorite holidays and movie themes of the year. I know horror holds a special place in your heart, too, of course.
Of course.
But this week and next week, we are talking about Christmas movies, and I'm really excited about this episode because I've always thought of these two movies as a bit diametrically opposed from each other, that households growing up either watched my movie or your movie. And so I'm really excited to hear what our audience thinks, if they are in
True.
one camp or another. So I'm really looking forward to this conversation today.
Same.
So thank you everyone so much for joining us. We hope you are having a happy holidays, no matter where you are or how you decide to celebrate or not. I'm Vee, and that's John, and we are here to recommend movies to you without spoiling them, including Christmas movies, and spoiler alert, we will not let you know whether or not Santa is even real.
Ho ho ho.
Exactly.
Yep. Perfect.
John, is there anything else you want to say on your birthday before we dive into the new movies we've seen in theaters or on streaming this week?
Good question. Just holidays are a good time. And at my job, it's been Christmas music ever since the day after Thanksgiving. And I have a lot of people that sit down at my bar and they're like, oh my gosh, are you like me? Can you not stand Christmas music? And oddly enough, after I say, well, I'm born on Christmas Eve and December is one of my favorite months, not only for that, but I just love Christmas, it seems to lighten their load a little bit and they get a little bit more comfortable about it and then start to talk about Christmas music with me and Christmas movies. So I think a lot of people deep down are very much in love with Christmas, depending on where they are in their lives, and hopefully that is the case this week with these two movies.
I agree, and there's so many times where I'll say, oh, I hate Christmas music, and then I'll turn on either Metal Does Christmas or some classical Christmas playlists, and I'm like, I really do like certain Christmas music. It's a good vibe, and
It is.
it's nice to kind of get yourself out of the bah humbug Scrooge mood. Oh, I guess I should have said that for next week, but but it was
Still
nice.
makes sense.
Yeah, and it does, and it was nice the last couple weeks to really just try to get in a little bit more of the holiday spirit. It's just hard as an adult. It's a lot harder than when you're a kid.
It can be. Yeah, it can be. This year was a little different for my wife and I as we were traveling the first week of December and came back and had to really pile in everything on my one day off before Christmas. So it was a lot of fun, but still kind of like, I really like spreading it out. But my wife has definitely decorated the house all Christmas, and it's been great.
All right, so now that we are sufficiently into the Christmas and holiday spirit here on the podcast, I think it's time to talk about the new movies we saw in theaters or on streaming this week that were probably not Christmas movies.
Yes, I did see 2 new movies over the last week, and I'm going to go back to my original formula and talk about the one that I absolutely hated first.
Oh, I didn't know you hated a movie this week. Okay.
Yeah, I did. I told you I hated it, and you said you were going to go see it, so we'll see if maybe you saw it or not.
It just feels like a long time ago.
It does. It actually does feel like a long time ago. I went and saw the new Miles Teller and Elizabeth Olsen Divine Joy Randolph film titled Eternity.
I'm still excited to see it. I want to give it a try.
Well, good luck. This movie sucked so much. It felt forced in every single regard, in my opinion. I could not get on board with anybody. Nobody was believable. It was horribly written and horribly acted. It just felt extremely forced, and I was very disappointed with it. I went in with an open mind. I like the trailer. I like Elizabeth Olsen. I like Miles Teller. Divine Joy Randolph, of course, from Only Murders in the Building and from The Holdovers from, I think, a year or 2 ago. This just did not land in any way, shape, or form for me, and when it ended, I just kind of was like, huh, and I saw it with a full theater, and not a single person in that theater laughed. So that is Eternity. If you really want to see it, go for it. I do not recommend it to anybody.
Okay.
But hey, like I said, give it a shot. You might think otherwise. I've been chastised by a few people that have told me that it's not a movie geared towards me, and I resent that remark because I like a lot of movies that are not necessarily geared towards married, straight, white men, regardless. The movie just sucked. It just didn't land in any shape or form for me.
And you know what? That's your experience, and that's okay.
Exactly. It's my experience, and I'm very curious if anybody out there, including our listeners, has seen it and had a much better experience with it. So if you have, let us know, and let me know what I might have missed, because I've asked a few people, and nobody can actually give me a straight answer about that.
Yeah, and that's fair, too. But God, I love Divine Joy Randolph so much. I love that she's an Oscar winner. I loved her this year in Shadow Force. She was a great supporting character. She's hilarious.
I didn't watch that yet.
And she's also hilarious as Sandra Bullock's assistant in The Lost City that just came out a couple years ago, too. And
oh, that's right. She is in that. Yeah. She's great. She really is.
I love her.
I just, there was a feel to Eternity that did not feel right. And I love me some afterlife movies. I like these types of genre flicks. It just, I don't know. There was something wrong with it.
Yeah, it just didn't hit the right note for you.
Nope, sure did not. Did not scratch that itch.
And I know the second movie you watched, I'm so sad we couldn't watch it together.
I am as well, because it is a ritual for you and I hope that we will be able to at least see it before it's out of theaters, which I think is possible, because I think this one's going to be around for a long time. Yeah. I went and saw the new James Cameron flick, and we all know the name of it, Avatar: Fire and Ash.
The trailer just did not do anything for me. I'm really just excited to go to the movies with you to see it, because it is our tradition, and unfortunately I was sick last weekend, so I couldn't go, but yeah, just okay, go ahead. Yeah.
No, I'm with you. The trailer that I saw originally, I was like, okay, well, all right. I did see 2 other trailers for it, and those 2 sort of got me a little pumped up for it. And of course, I'm going to go see it because it's Avatar. It's James Cameron, Zoe Saldana, and Sam Worthington, and Sigourney Weaver. And this one stars Una Chaplin as well as the villain of the Mangquan clan. Oh, she's Varang, and she is a fucking badass. This movie's awesome. I gave it a B- because there's not a whole lot new story-wise, but of course, visually, it is unreal. There is a lot of new creatures that are introduced, and man, I had a blast with it. I did see it 4DX because that is also the way to see Avatar, in my personal opinion. It really brings you into the movie. Soundtrack is amazing, and I really think this one is building up to a 4th chapter that is really going to be pretty badass. And I've read a lot of comments and a lot of reviews over the last week about this movie, and it seems to be a 50-50. I feel like that's just the case even with the first one and Way of Water as well. But I had a really good time with it. I will absolutely see it again, and when you are able to, we will go check it out in 4DX. It's a blast, completely badass, and it's not my favorite movie of the year like Way of Water was, but this is still a really, really good, a lot of fun flick.
Well, I appreciate you being willing to see it again with me.
Oh, yeah. I plan to see it at least 2 more times. I saw Way of Water 4 times, so we'll see if I can see this one 5 times. It's very possible.
Oh, it's not worth 16 hours of your life, though. Come on, dude.
It is to me.
Okay. Well, I guess that means you did have a lot more fun with it than I thought you did.
Oh, no, I really did. I gotta be honest, though, I had 2 people sitting next to me that really pissed me off, and I had this really young kid sitting next to me that was separated from his family, and his dad was sitting him down next to me, and he goes, "Hey, man, if my son starts acting out, you're free to smack him."
Oh, my God.
And I was like, "Buddy, I'm not gonna hit your kid." But I started talking to the kid before the movie, and he was really excited, and he seemed to have a good time with it, too. So
good.
the whole theater, I mean, it was a sold-out show. It was Sunday night at 6 o'clock. Every seat was taken, and at the end, the theater erupted in applause, and it was pretty badass.
Wow, okay.
So that's what I saw over the last week. V, what did you see?
I watched one movie this last week, and I was inspired because I actually rewatched Broadchurch recently, so I was on an Olivia Colman kick, and decided to finally...
What the hell is that?
Oh, it's a fantastic British crime drama. Oh, it came out on Well, it was streaming in the U.S. on Netflix about 10 years ago.
Oh, wow.
And David Tennant is in it as well. So good.
Sweet.
Yeah, it's a fantastic series. I definitely recommend Broadchurch for people who like British procedurals. Anyway, because of that, I was on Olivia Colman kick. And so I decided to finally get around and watch The Roses.
Oh, sweet.
I had so much fun. Benedict Cumberbatch and Olivia Colman together had great chemistry as well as great hatred for each other.
Oh, yeah, big time.
Very fun. The script is great and very witty as well. I laughed out loud a lot, and I love that the location was in Mendocino, California, because that's actually the next town over from where I grew up. And so I know Mendocino, California very well, and even though that's not actually where the movie was filmed, it was still fun to
Definitely not.
that piece of geography in there for us as well. So, yes, I recommend it. I had a lot of fun with it. I think it's a great remake, too. Definitely
That's
high
right.
marks for being a strong remake. And it's currently streaming on Hulu if you want. And I figured, nothing says the holidays like divorce, so why don't I watch The Roses?
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Amy and I saw it when it was in theaters, and we both enjoyed it very much. I certainly would love to visit her restaurant by the sea, and it certainly had us laughing a lot. I loved Kate McKinnon as well. As small as her part was, I was hoping she would be in it more, but it was still a very, very entertaining flick. I still have not seen the original, but which I plan to at some point, so maybe I'll get to that in the future.
The original is much darker.
That's what I've heard. I heard it's a lot more dramatic than funny.
Yes, it's a lot less funny, but I really want to live in their house of the new one,
that
the
house,
Roses.
the one that he built.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that house is
insane.
amazing. So badass. The kitchen is incredible.
Oh gosh.
And that loft, like library office room that he built. Oh, so,
With the view?
that was a yes.
Definitely
So
want that
cool.
house. So I just want to steal the set because I'm assuming it was built for the movie, and it's gorgeous.
Oh, I would imagine so. Yeah. No, that was cool. I'm glad you liked it.
Yeah, thanks. I'm glad I finally got around to it.
Sweet.
All right, now that we've talked about movies that are not Christmas related, it's time to talk about some that are.
It is time to get into the Christmas spirit.
And we are going in chronological order this week.
Yes, we are.
Which means you go first.
All right, let's do it. Let's jump into a movie from way back in the day, 1983, 2 years before I was born. This is a classic among classics. I do know people that don't like it, and I feel like that's going to be today's episode because I know you've only seen it one other time and you didn't like it then, but maybe it's grown on you ever since you last watched it. This film stars Peter Billingsley, Melinda Dillon, who we've talked about twice on this podcast, Darren McGavin, Scott Schwartz, R.D. Robb, and Zach Ward. I have a cool story about having worked with Zach Ward several years ago, actually the first movie I ever did after Amy moved in with me. This movie is based on a novel by Gene Shepard called In God We Trust, All Others Pay Cash. Screenplay by Lee Brown and Bob Clark. Directed by Bob Clark. This is A Christmas Story. For those of you that don't know A Christmas Story, classic flick. It's been on TNT, USA. I think they do on TBS. They used to do a 24-hour loop of this movie several years ago. I don't know if they still do that because I don't know if TBS is even still on television. Can you verify that, V, or not?
I cannot, though I do know Turner Classic Movies has either a channel still or a streamer, which would probably be on at this point.
Yeah, definitely. I would agree with that. I watched this movie the first time, I want to say I was maybe 6 years old. My father and my grandfather on my mother's side were really big fans of it. They always had a really good time watching the movie. My grandfather and my father really related to the old man in this movie, played by Darren McGavin. The story is centered on any other child that really wants something specific for Christmas, similar to Jingle All the Way, but it's not as outlandish and insane as Jingle All the Way.
No, it's definitely not.
And in Jingle All the Way, we all know that Arnold Schwarzenegger's son wants the Turbo Man. And in this movie, A Christmas Story, although Ralphie, played by Peter Billingsley, has a bunch of friends, nobody else seems to be as hard-charged about getting this Red Ryder BB gun than Ralphie Parker does. This movie is set in the early 1940s, 1941 mostly, due to a couple of things that are dropped about the time frame of the movie. Ralphie and his brother are very excited for Christmas, and this is back in the day when kids could walk 3 miles in the snow to get to their school. And there's a lot of that in this movie. Ralphie, his kid brother, and his friends Schwartz, and a couple other guys. And they also are trying to evade the school and town bully Scut Farkas, played by Zach Ward. This film is also narrated by Gene Shepard, who wrote the book/short story novella that this movie screenplay is based on. And apparently Gene Shepard and Bob Clark spent about a decade coming up with the concept of the movie and trying to get it brought to life. And Bob Clark was actually told by the studio that they don't want to really make this type of movie, but they'll let him make the movie as long as he does a horror movie for them. So he ended up doing Black Christmas in 1974, and then through the process of a couple other movies that he did, he was in the pre-production of making A Christmas Story. And he really rose to fame with a teen sex comedy called Porky's that came out in 1981, which I saw one time. My buddies and I rented. We were, I think, seniors in high school, went to Blockbuster, and we're like, we got to check out Porky's. It's not that great of a movie, and I know Kim Cattrall's in it. Either way, Bob Clark had quite the career. Very unfortunately, during the production of a documentary that they were making on A Christmas Story, he and his son were killed by a drunk driver. So Bob Clark, unfortunately, and his son met their demise very early on, and I think it happened in 2007, if I remember correctly.
That's awful.
Yeah, really, really terrible. Happened in the Palisades, April 4th of 2007. So yeah, definitely sad news about Bob Clark, but he did give us a lot of classic movies that a lot of people still talk about, including this one. And like I said, Ralphie and his kid brother and friends walk to school, try to evade Scut Farkas, and Ralphie is very hopped up on trying to get this Red Ryder BB gun for Christmas. His parents are asking him what he wants, and he's trying to allude to it without being so blatant that he wants a quote-unquote violent weapon, which it's a BB gun. It's not really anything terrible. I never did get a BB gun when I was growing up. Even after having seen this movie, a BB gun was not something that really resonated with me as a child, as a toy that I wanted. But this movie, for the sake of story, is exactly what he wants. And it's very popular. He and his brother also listen to a radio show called Little Orphan Annie, so he's a part of this Little Orphan Annie club where he gets a decoder pin at one point in the movie, and I love that scene because after he decodes the message, he's very disappointed. But also, on top of the fact that he wants this Red Ryder BB gun, he does unfortunately drop it on his mom one morning at breakfast, and she drops the ultimate line that all people throughout history, at least my last 40 years of living now, have always said, including my parents every year: "You'll shoot your eye out, kid." And not only does his mom say this, his teacher says it because she asks her class one morning to write a theme about what they want for Christmas. And Ralphie's like, "Oh, I'm going to write the greatest story and the greatest essay about why I want a Red Ryder BB gun." She gives him back his paper, and of course she leaves the same quote his mother drops: "You'll shoot your eye out." And it seems like his father is a little bit hopped up on the work that he's doing. He's got a terrible furnace, so the house is always cold, and he's trying to fix the furnace. He's a big crossword player in the daily newspaper as well, so he's hoping one day to win a big prize. And if you've seen the movie, you know that he does in fact win a prize at one point or another. Which is, of course, a very famous portion of this movie as well. And I love Melinda Dillon's character throughout the movie after he wins the award, which is the leg lamp that we all know of. I think like World Market and Target and all of them have a leg lamp ornament, and you can buy one that actually lights up in the leg, and it's got the fishnet on it and everything. It's got the butt cheek and whatnot. And there actually was... I do not have one. No, I don't. I don't have a big one, and I don't have a small one. But it's one of those things where I'm like, I do like A Christmas Story. It'd be kind of fun to have either the leg lamp or a Red Ryder BB gun or something from the movie. Even a decoder pin. That I thought that thing was really cool when I was growing up.
Well, I think that since you gave me my amazing light up Die Hard Christmas ornament,
yes, I did.
that it's only fair that I reciprocate in kind.
Hey, you know what? I'm fine with that. Let's do it.
Okay.
So going back to a little bit more of this story with Ralphie Parker and him spending his last few weeks up until Christmas trying to figure out how he might be able to get this Red Ryder BB gun. He goes into a bunch of different fantasies about how he could be the savior of the day, and there's one of the first little fantasies he has is he's kind of this little sheriff Mountie and taking out some Black Bart that are trying to break into his house. And during that scene, apparently in the production, the production gave Peter Billingsley, at that age, chewing tobacco for that scene.
Oh, God.
Yeah, could you imagine? And of
Yes,
course, I started thinking about the scene in the Sandlot.
I
and
can,
yes.
because
Totally. It's the 80s. Why not, right?
Well, no, I can picture it because what you're just about to say, the scene with the Sandlot is exactly what I pictured, because I remember my cousin trying chew for the very first time, and he was 15 or something, and he immediately vomited.
Yeah. And apparently that's what happened to Peter Billingsley. He got sick for about an hour and a half on set, and then they went to shoot some more material, and they gave him chewing gum and raisins to make it look like he was actually chewing tobacco. So they should have just done that from the first time.
Yeah, it's not like you can tell as an audience member what the hell he's chewing.
Not at all, no. But hey, practicality is at its finest in 1982 when this was in production.
Especially with children.
And Peter Billingsley, we've talked about a couple times on the show because he was in my pick of 4 Christmases last year when he was the airline clerk trying to figure out a way to keep Vince Vaughn and Renee Zellweger. Reese Witherspoon.
Talked about Renee Zellweger last week.
Yes, we did, yes. And Peter Billingsley is an elf, and for some strange reason, there is a sequel to A Christmas Story that came out on HBO 3 or 4 years ago. I watched it last year when I was wrapping presents, and it's really bad. It's awful.
Well,
it's not good at all. There was no point in making that movie. And one other time when I was bartending at the airport, who walked in with his family? Peter Billingsley. And he sat down at the table, and one of the servers there was obviously his server, and he was very nice to her, took pictures with her. I was busy at the bar, so I didn't get a chance to meet him, but she did tell me that she asked him if he still had the bunny suit, and he absolutely still has the bunny suit.
Yes! Okay, I love that.
Yeah. He looked like a deranged Easter bunny. I love that line.
Yeah, me too.
So beyond Ralphie trying to inception his mother more than his father about the fact that he wants this Red Ryder BB gun and having his teacher tell him the same thing, one of my favorite scenes in this movie is when he does go visit Santa. I think that is one of the best Santas in holiday Christmas cinema. The guy always makes me laugh, even to this day. And Ralphie's just doing his best to evade bullies and make it through school up until the Christmas holiday, well, the Christmas break comes, because in elementary school, I think I had like 3.5 weeks off.
Mm-hmm.
So I can only imagine back then. I guess it could be considered a coming-of-age tale at that age. So we're just along for this entertaining ride, about an hour and a half, hour and 40 minutes of Ralphie trying to figure out a way to hopefully wake up Christmas morning with a Red Ryder BB gun under the tree. And I have, like I said, been watching this movie since I was 5 or 6 years old, so that's either 1990 or 1991. I've had it on VHS. I have it on Blu-ray now. There's 2 little documentaries on the Blu-ray that are pretty entertaining. I was a little disappointed that it didn't go too much into the production of the movie. It really went more into what every cast member did with their family over the holidays instead of really talk about the movie. But that's okay. There is a cool documentary about 6 minutes long about the manufacturer of the leg lamp, which is actually very entertaining. And it makes me laugh every time. This is one of my wife's least favorite movies of all time. Every time I put it on, she leaves the room because she can't stand watching this movie. And that kind of sucks because it still makes me laugh. And I will go on record and say it's possible that it is a nostalgia thing for me. I have loved the movie for so long that I don't think it can do any wrong. I know a lot of people that don't like it, and I feel like I'm about to find out who else doesn't like the movie. So V, this was your second viewing of A Christmas Story in your tenure of being alive?
Yes.
All right. Well, take it away. What did you like? What did you not like of A Christmas Story?
I'm with your wife.
Stretching for this one. Here we go. Oh, boy.
Gotta limber up for this conversation. I'm with your wife on this one. This movie sucked. I hated it so much.
Oh, man.
I knew I couldn't veto it because you love it and because what the hell else would you pick? And
yeah.
Oh, God. Everyone screams or whines or cries in this movie. It is an hour and a half. And the parents do too. Everybody.
No, his old man does not. Well, I guess his old man does scream
Yells
and yell
all the
definitely,
time. He yells all the time.
I just love when he yells at the Bumpus's dogs. That's like Bumpus's. Like I love that. It's
this
so funny
movie
to me.
is exhausting. It's obnoxious. I hated it so much. I hate it.
Oh man. Well, we know who the Grinch of this season is on the podcast.
Nope, because I know a lot of people, including your wife, who don't like this film. It's a matter of taste.
I know.
And I do remember a couple of key scenes, the stuck tongue, of course. And the whole time I'm just like, dude, pour some water on it. You're fine.
Right? Yeah, like in Dumb and Dumber.
Although I do agree with the voiceover when his poor mother is helping everyone with their dinners. And as soon as she sits down, somebody else asks her a question. Then she'll sit down again. Somebody else needs something. And the voiceover says, my mother had not had a hot meal for herself in 15 years. And I go,
yeah.
Oh, women can feel that quote for sure.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Felt so bad for her. And then, of course, there's the lamp, the ugliest thing. It's so great. And he's just so pumped about it. He goes and views it from outside the house. Oh, you got to move it so it's centered in the window. Like, that was actually just because it's so ridiculous. But
it's a major award.
I love, since you and I talk frequently about cursing, and Ralphie unfortunately lets the F word slip. And I didn't say fudge. I said the queen mother of dirty words. And so now, whenever you say the F word, I'm going to say that. You use the queen mother of dirty words.
I love that later on, too. And his mom is like, where did you hear that word? And he goes, the voiceover. Now, I had heard that word at least 10 times a day from my old man. But I don't know who else I could put the blame on for that one. And then she's on the phone with her friends like, probably from his father. Like, his father? No. His mom is just so, no, there's no way he heard it from his dad.
I do love Melinda Dillon. She was great in one of your previous picks and also one of my previous picks. And I figured you'd mention those. And she's also in Harry and the Hendersons. She was great in the 80s and 90s. And then on Christmas morning when they get socks and they're just so disappointed. And it's so classic because when you're a kid, yes, socks seem like the worst. And then as an adult, you're like, woohoo, socks.
Oh, yeah. I got a great pair of socks last year from a friend of mine. I got Saw socks, the Billy the Puppet socks. I was like, oh my gosh. Awesome. We were talking about Christmas. We were talking about what I wanted for Christmas and what she wanted. I was like, I actually wouldn't mind like a cool pair of socks. I have Jurassic Park socks. I have Nickelodeon socks. I have Disney socks, Ninja Turtle socks. I have a lot, and I have cocktail socks.
Who gave you those Jurassic Park socks, by the way?
Oh, you absolutely did. On top of my awesome, ugly Christmas sweater, Jurassic Park, which I flaunted at my wife's company Christmas party. And everybody absolutely loved.
They did? Oh my God, I haven't talked to you about that yet. I was so excited to see that on your stories that you actually wore that sweater in public. Thank you. It's a cool.
I wore it last year at the airport too, on Christmas Day. Oh, no, Christmas, no, the day before Christmas I wore it, and then Christmas Day I dressed up as Santa Claus.
That's awesome. And it's actually, I mean, it can be classified as an ugly Christmas sweater, but it's not ugly. It's badass.
Oh, it's not ugly at all. No, hell no. It's the best.
Oh, I'm so glad you like it still.
Hell yeah.
So yes, I think it's a nostalgic thing, and that's totally cool, and more power to anybody who still watches this movie or still loves this movie. Totally fine, just definitely not my style, and I can understand why my parents didn't like it or show it when we were kids. It's just a little too grating for me, and so I'm going to have to miss this one, but I respect that you love it.
All right, I got you. I didn't think you were going to like it after you had mentioned how your first experience went with the movie, and it is what it is. No big deal. I will still watch it every year and never the sequel, but it is definitely in my Rolodex of Christmas movies to watch.
Amy and I will go to another room when you put this on. It's fine.
Yeah, there you go. Totally fine. Now, speaking of the stuck tongue scene, that was done somewhat practically. They actually had a hole dug in that pole and had a suction on it so that he could actually have his tongue stick. They didn't put the child through any actual torture sticking his tongue to a frozen pole. So there's that. There's good news there.
But at the same time, he could still act like it was stuck because of the suction. He didn't just have to pretend to hold it there. So that was actually pretty smart.
Yeah, and Flick, that poor kid. And I love when they're all back in the class and the teacher's like, where's Flick? And everyone's like, who? Who are you talking about? So, of course, nobody's going to admit anything. And then the fire department comes and, like, Schwartz and Ralphie are both like, oh, boy, here we go. It's pretty ridiculous. And just like anybody else, nobody rats on their friends except for Ralphie later on in the movie.
He does have very blue eyes.
Peter Billingsley as a child?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, big time. Yeah, the hair. He reminds me of myself as a child. I just didn't have glasses or blue eyes, but the hair and there's
So
a
he reminds you
JCPenney.
of yourself, except he looks totally different.
Except he looks totally different, yeah. But some of the clothes that he wears, like the sweatshirt the Christmas sweater that he wears, I wore one of those for like a JCPenney photo shoot with my sister at one point, and
God,
I always had
please
my
dig those up.
that my parents recently did.
Yes.
Tomorrow I'll have to send you some pictures
Okay.
because I'll be at my parents' house for Christmas, of course.
Oh, fabulous.
And speaking of the swearing in the movie, when Ralphie says fudge, Darren McCavin actually has a couple of moments in the movie where he's going down to the furnace to kind of beat the shit out of it to hopefully work. And he's just gibbering on. And it's reminiscent of Joe Pesci in the Home Alone movies because he doesn't actually say any real words. He just goes, and he did that on Bob Clark's instruction to do and say and make as much noise as you want, but make sure that we will still be able to get a PG rating.
Smart.
Yeah. And similar to that scene where Ralphie later on actually takes the bully on, which is a great scene. I always really like that scene. The retaliation is great. And how he just completely takes down Scud Farkus. There's a lot of gibberish that he also says in that scene. And apparently that was all actually word for word from the script. So none of that was actually like an improv moment. He just took that from the actual script. And it's kind of interesting. After I read that, I went back to that scene. And all he's doing is going, friggin', frackin', slickin', flagin', like there's really no real words that he says.
No, he's that upset.
Yeah, exactly. And like I said, Zach Ward, I did a movie with back, gosh, it's actually 10 years ago now. Right around when Amy moved in, I got word to go AD this movie for The Asylum, which was still likely the Sci-Fi Channel original movie channel, if you will. And Zach Ward was in this mockumentary that we made about the first Sharknado movie. And Zach Ward was really cool. I have a picture of him. I'll post it on social media. It's actually pretty funny. And I just gushed to him for the entire day because we only had him for one day about how much I really enjoyed A Christmas Story. And he told me how much fun the production actually was and that he and Peter Billingsley and everybody all got along and they were friends at lunch and just having a great time. So during the scenes that they're actually being bullied by him wasn't as difficult as it would have been, but it still was a lot of fun because at the end of the day when they would yell cut, they would all just be like hugging and laughing and having a great time about it.
Nice. That's good.
Yeah, it is. And I like when that happens. And it always scenes, not just with children, but in certain movies, like the themes of them. Like I would say like Django Unchained, like DiCaprio's character being the way he is, and then cutting, and then he and Jamie Foxx like standing off in the corner laughing and having a good time. More power to actors for being able to be racist and still be friends afterward, I guess. If that's how, it's just so strange to me, but you know, that's why it's called acting.
Well, and it's the opposite for a lot of situations because remember, they kept Jennifer Hudson separate on Dreamgirls. Joe Pesci stayed completely far away from the star of my movie on purpose.
Yes, he did.
For both the original and the sequel, actually. And so it really just depends on not only the direction from the director themselves, but also the actor's choices. And I respect either one as long as you don't go overboard. I like the idea of, similar to Sissy Spacek and Carrie, right? Where she kept herself separate to maintain that sense of otherness. Because I would certainly need that extra little help because I wouldn't ever be a very good actor. So I need all the help I can get. But then at the same time, there are actors who can literally just turn it off as soon as they yell cut and they become a different person. It's so wild to watch when we've been on set and that happens. I'm like, whoa, I don't know how someone can flip the switch that quickly.
Yeah, exactly. It is impressive stuff. And that's why Oscars are given to the ones that deserve it.
Is that what you want for Christmas?
Yes, if I could have my way. Be an Academy member and vote for the right movies instead of the wrong ones.
Well, because you'd actually watch all the nominees, that's why.
Exactly, yeah. I'm so curious what's going to happen this next year. The shortlist came out, and I agree with a good amount of it. So we'll see what happens as the Golden Globes come up in January and then the Oscars in March or April.
Well, we'll have our Oscars episode next year, so you all can tune in and hear what we think.
Absolutely. A Christmas Story ended up being a much bigger surprise hit than anybody at the studio and Bob Clark, including the cast, actually thought it was going to be. It came out just before Thanksgiving in 1983. It did very well, surprisingly. But when Christmas started to get closer, it had already been pulled from theaters, and a lot of people that had seen it before wanted to take their families for around the Christmas holiday to see A Christmas Story. So a lot of theaters across the country ended up re-releasing it in theaters.
We were just talking about movies not being in theaters long enough right before
Yes,
we
we
started
were.
recording. So
Yeah.
that's kind of nice
It
to
happens so much more these days. So many movies are a week or two.
hear. Oh, and then they're
and
gone.
That's it. And
Sucks.
yeah, so we'll yeah, I know. I dread what's going to happen if Netflix goes through with this purchase.
Well, just remind yourself it could always be worse.
Yeah, it always can be worse. Jack Nicholson was given this script and was very interested in playing the old man in this movie. However, his fee was way too expensive, would have almost tripled the budget, so they went with Derek McAvin instead.
The problem with that would be when he's super frustrated about the neighbor's dogs or the furnace, everyone would think that, oh, he's about to go off the deep end and murder his whole family.
Right, yeah, exactly. A
He's
whole Shining situation in a Christmas movie.
Way too scary to be a believable angry father who doesn't murder people in the end of the movie.
So true, so true. In 2012, A Christmas Story was inducted into the Library of Congress for being culturally and aesthetically significant, which is pretty sweet.
No, I respect that.
Okay. Red Ryder is the character that the Red Ryder BB gun is based off of and was actually a very big character in comic books and radio shows in the 30s and 40s. So there's a little bit of authenticity going in with the Red Ryder situation.
Yeah, I remember Red Ryder being something like the Lone Ranger.
I think that's kind of what they were alluding to.
Okay.
This movie apparently was the inspiration for the creation of the show The Wonder Years.
Oh, with the... Thank you, yes. With the voiceover, it totally
Yeah,
seemed
the
like
narration
it.
and everything.
Yes. And it's first person, and he's an adult now looking back and telling the story of his child. Yep, exactly.
Yeah, pretty cool. The novella that this movie is based off of by Gene Shepard is actually a collection of stories that Gene Shepard submitted and had published in Playboy magazine in the 1960s.
Well, that's why they say I read it for the articles. They actually had
Yeah,
articles
yeah.
back in the day.
Oh, they totally did. My wife and I found 2 old Playboy magazines when we were at a bookstore.
Oh, I thought you were about to say when you were at your parents' house.
No. No.
Sorry, go on.
No, we found them in the archives, if you will, of this bookstore, and they were only $15 each. And Amy is a big Playboy fan. She listens to Holly Madison's podcast with Bridget all the time. She has all the seasons of Girls Next Door on DVD. She's a big Playboy aficionado and knows so much more about it than I do. And we watch a lot of Playboy murder shows on HBO because it's all about Playboy models that were actually murdered throughout their tenure being at Playboy. And we actually have not opened them yet because they are sealed, but Amy wants to, at some point, open them and read all the articles, and I think one was from 1965 and the other is from 1967 or something like that. But very cool little finds, and the fact that my wife wanted them was very cool.
I wonder if I've told her the story about working with Hugh Hefner and Holly and the rest of the bunnies.
I don't know if you have.
Oh, I gotta tell her.
You haven't told me that story.
Oh, yes. I once worked a party. It was for Hugh Hefner's 80th birthday party, I think.
Oh, wow.
And I was one of the managers, and so I had to help set everything up, and then I facilitated them coming in and ushering them to different places throughout the night. And they were the bunnies. Hugh Hefner was just like the super chill and was like, yep, I'm going to be here and I'm just going to do my thing. And he was like the most self-assured man, of course, because Hugh Hefner. He was very kind. He was very respectful. And then all the bunnies were so sweet. They were tiny and they were just the nicest girls. And they just gave us compliments throughout the night. And at one point I just remember one of them saying, "This is the best salsa I've ever had." And I was like, you guys are just so nice to us. Thank you. It was really
That's
sweet.
awesome.
Yeah. And that was a lot of fun. It was certainly one of the better celebrity encounters I've had. And
Hell yeah.
they could have just been
Absolutely.
totally jerks, and they weren't at all. They were super duper sweet. So yeah, I got to tell Amy that story.
That's really cool. I'm jealous of that for sure.
Hugh Hefner was tiny.
Oh, I've heard that he was not a big dude.
And it was summertime, and he was still wearing a velvet smoking jacket.
Oh, of course. Absolutely.
Had to be, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my Hugh Hefner Playboy Bunny story.
Awesome. That's a cool story.
While talking about children's movies on Christmas.
Yeah. Well, I don't have a whole lot left, so that's totally fine to segue into something like that because I didn't know that, and that's very cool that you were able to experience something like that. I never went to the mansion once. I always wanted to. Won't ever happen now, but that's okay. Now, I mentioned earlier about this Little Orphan Annie radio show and Ralphie getting a decoder pin during the movie. And the one that he got apparently was called a Speedomatic, and it was a model from the 1940s. And later on, as Little Orphan Annie continued to progress on radio and then into TV, they ended up sending out paper decoder pins. So it seems like if you were able to get one of these true decoder pins, you have a piece of history, which is pretty cool.
The metal one was very cool in this movie.
Yeah.
I thought that I would have loved that as a kid.
Oh, hell yeah. I would not have loved the message that came with the decoder pin, but either way.
My brother would have loved that message.
He liked that stuff?
Oh my gosh, so much.
I've never had it in my life.
Seriously?
Yeah, never. I love chocolate milk, but I've never had Ovaltine.
Oh, did you always have the Hershey's chocolate milk?
Yeah, or Nesquik. Yep.
Yeah, Nesquik. That was the other one. I feel like Ovaltine was like the hippie version.
Yeah, the healthier version.
Yeah.
I just love when he's like, be sure to drink your Ovaltine. He's like, a commercial? Son of a bitch.
He
Like,
was
walks
so pissed.
He was so pissed
No,
about
but
it.
that metal decoder pin was really cool.
It was, yes. I don't think I mentioned this before, but Gene Shepard, who wrote the screenplay with Bob Clark and wrote the stories that are in the novella, he actually is the narrator of the movie and narrates as Ralphie, which is pretty cool.
Okay.
And Bob Clark has a cameo as well after the old man puts the leg lamp in his window. Somebody comes up and says, what is that? And he goes,
yeah.
oh, it's a major award. That was Bob Clark.
Okay, cool. I love the subtle cameos by people.
Yes.
They're so much more fun. They feel like Easter eggs.
Gene Shepard actually is in the movie, too. There's a moment where Ralphie steps into what he thinks is the end of the line to see Santa, and there's a guy going, hey, kid, what are you doing? That's Gene Shepard.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Yeah. During this scene, also, the Wicked Witch of the West, the Cowardly Lion, the Scarecrow, and the Tin Man show up, and that's because the Wizard of Oz had just come out about 3 or 4 years prior to when this movie is set. And there's a weird-ass kid standing in front of Ralphie in line for Santa that keeps turning around and asking him strange questions with this really creepy smile on his face. And that kid always freaked me out. Even to this day, he's like, I like the Tin Man. Like, I don't like that kid. Just, ugh. And I remember having kids like that when I would be a counselor at the camp you and I and my wife met at. And not that I didn't like those kids. It was just, there was a little something off going on with those kids.
Well, and since it was back in 1940 or 1941, I bet The Wizard of Oz was still in theaters because they were lucky enough to have long runs.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Unlike us.
First color picture that came out.
Yeah. Unlike us who have to scramble to movie theaters within a week if we want to see something.
Seriously. Now, A Christmas Story came out 4 days after my wife's birthday, so it kind of, in a way, shares a connection to last week's pick of mine and the pick before last week. So this one was November 18th of 1983. The budget for A Christmas Story was $3.3 million. Domestically, it brought in $2.1, and worldwide, it brought in $20.7 million.
Whoa.
Coming in to be the 39th highest-grossing film worldwide of 1983, with the highest-grossing film domestically being Return of the Jedi, number 2 being Tootsie, a past pick of mine, number 4, Trading Places, a past pick of yours, and 16 being E.T., another past pick of yours. So that is A Christmas Story from 1983. V hates it. I love it. If you are a fan of it, as always, watch it around the Christmas holidays. And that's all I got. So that is A Christmas Story.
And if you think it sucks, let John know on social media.
Absolutely. Please do. So now I think it's time to jump into V's pick, which we fast forward almost a full decade, but not quite, to a major classic. And let's get into it.
Which was also released on November 16th.
Wow. Oh, my gosh. Crazy.
But the year it came out was 1990. I have done the sequel to this movie. I love the sequel so much, and I hadn't seen the original in quite a few years because I usually just tend to go towards the sequel when I'm in the mood for this movie in particular, or this series in particular.
Sure.
But rewatching the original this week really brought back just how great it is.
Oh, hell yeah. I watch it every year. I watch both of them every year.
I think I need to start because I usually only watch the second one every year, and I am talking about the Macaulay Culkin classics. I've already covered Home Alone 2, Lost in New York. This is the original Home Alone.
Or what's the other one? Yeah, John Williams.
Yep, it's John Williams. Thank you. I already crossed off a piece of trivia.
Sorry, yes.
No, that's great. I have a lot of behind the scenes trivia of this movie, so thank you for throwing that one out there. That's true. This is a John Williams score. It is also the movie that introduced me to Carol of the Bells back when I was 7 or 8 when I first watched this movie. I didn't see it in theaters, but my parents, I think I probably watched it at a friend's. I don't know if my parents brought this movie home.
I think I'm in the same boat, yeah.
Yeah, I think because my parents had a feeling that the kid was a little bit of a shit, and so they didn't want to bring that into the house. Which is true. And looking back at it now as an adult watching this movie, Kevin is a little bit of a brat, but he's also 8. And he's allowed to be. He's got 4 older siblings. His house is insane. And you know who has no right whatsoever to be a jerk is stupid Uncle Frank.
Uncle frickin' Frank.
He's the worst. He's such a leech. Oh, God.
Oh, yeah. Big time.
There's a point where, I'll get into it. Let me set the scene first. Diving right into this story. I know a lot of people listening are probably very familiar with it, but let me dive in and explain the plot a little bit. Kevin lives in Chicago with his family. In fact, Winnetka, which is a very nice high-end suburb of Chicago. My best friend in college is from Winnetka, and I visited him and his family one summer, and he brought me not only a tour of Chicago itself, which was so fun, but also the neighborhoods in Winnetka, and that's where John Hughes filmed most of his movies. So the Ferris Bueller house was there, the Home Alone house was there. He's brought me to all of them. So I've actually been to the exterior of this house, which is fun. It's since been remodeled heavily and is now this black and white monochromatic millennial boring. It looks awful on the inside. All of the warmth from this home is gone, which is totally unfortunate. It was on the market for $5.2 million recently. It's a 9,000 square foot house. And
whoa.
Yeah. And that must be really nice because being one of 5 kids myself, growing up in a much smaller home, having a little bit of extra space would have been nice.
Hell yeah.
So Kevin lives here with his family, but not only are they there for the holidays, but also his aunt and uncle, all of their kids, a couple more cousins. There are 15 people in this house, and it's quite hectic because they're all getting ready to leave for Paris the next morning to visit another uncle. So as all adults know, this is a crazy, crazy time. They're trying to keep all of the tickets in line. They're trying to keep all the passports in line. Everybody getting packed, trying to tell Kevin to get packed. He's saying no. And you can tell that this kid needs attention. And it's a little bit of a mix. Like, yes, he's a bit of a brat, like I said, but also it's got to be hard living in that family. And they all just start assuming bad intent from him. And so everybody's giving him a really hard time, including his parents. And when the pizzas are ordered for dinner, because nobody's going to cook the night before leaving for Paris, this is when the Uncle Frank comes in and gets all the pizzas, and the pizza boy says, "That's $122.50." And Uncle Frank goes, "Oh, it's my brother's house. He'll take care of it." And I'm like, you douche. God, he's the worst.
A big one.
And he acts like that throughout the entire movie, stealing stuff from first class on the plane, wanting to get free champagne. And
it's free, right?
Oh, God. And then
glass of champagne.
Oh, and just being a total jerk at his other brother's house when his sister-in-law's like, Frank, that's for dinner later. And he totally ignores her and brings the food out to the living room. Like, God, you're the worst.
Yeah.
Completely insufferable.
So
and also a cheapskate. Bad combo.
Oh, yes.
And so back at the house, we now have gotten pizza, but there's more than just the pizza boy standing there. There's Joe Pesci as a cop. And he's trying to get somebody's attention. And unfortunately, this house is way too hectic. But he finally gets an adult to talk to him and asks, "Hey, are you going away for the holidays?" They say, "Yes, we're going to Paris." Gives them the whole rundown. And he says, "Okay, we're just checking the neighborhood, letting the owners know that there's a lot of break-ins during the holidays. Please be safe. Please keep your house secure." And he walks out. Well, it turns out Joe Pesci, named Harry, is part of the team called the Wet Bandits.
W-E-T Bandits.
Along with Daniel Stern. And they are actually burglars. And what Joe Pesci has been doing is casing the neighborhood, which, watching it this week, kind of brilliant.
Oh, absolutely.
What a great idea.
It really is.
So Harry and Marv are now set on their plan and which houses they are going to rob over the next week while people are out of town for the holidays. And back inside the McAllister home, things are not going well for Kevin, including the one cheese pizza that was ordered being completely eaten before he could get a slice. And that is on top of his annoying cousin Fuller being forced to sleep next to him, or Kevin being forced to sleep next to Fuller, because Fuller wets the bed.
Yeah.
And his cousin Fuller is actually played by his real-life little brother, Kieran, who's so adorable in this movie. He's also in the second one. Kieran is now an Oscar winner and was in Succession.
Yeah.
He's now, for these actually newer generations, maybe more famous than his brother Macaulay, which is kind of funny.
That is, yeah.
But yes, it was fun to see him as a little boy as his very first credit ever in this movie. And so now Kevin is not only forced to sleep next to his cousin, but his siblings have been giving him a bunch of crap because he's asking them, what should I pack for Paris? And all of them are giving him the runaround or really not nice responses. He asks his brother Buzz, who is like Sid from Toy Story.
Oh, totally.
If Kevin can sleep in Buzz's room because Fuller wets the bed, and I actually really love this line just because it's delivered so mercilessly. Buzz says, I wouldn't let you sleep in my room if you were growing on my ass. Which is actually a pretty funny line for a basically kids movie.
Oh, yeah, totally.
And so Kevin is getting more and more upset, and all the pizza being gone for him is the absolute last straw, and he throws a bit of a fit, goes after his brother Buzz, who was teasing him about it, spills a ton of drinks all over the different tables that everybody's trying to eat at. Some tickets and passports get a bunch of drinks spilled on them. Unfortunately, his gets thrown in the trash while they're trying to clean up. And he gets in so much trouble by, oh my gosh, I can't believe I haven't mentioned this yet, his mother, played by Catherine O'Hara, the queen.
Yeah.
Love her. I really need to rewatch Schitt's Creek.
Oh, definitely. Almost time for a rewatch, too.
Yes, she plays Moira Rose, and she also is in all of the Christopher Guest movies. So funny, and she plays it very straight in this movie. She's gorgeous, and the mom, and she gets really upset with him, and it's the last straw, and so she tells Kevin that he actually has to go sleep all the way upstairs, basically the attic.
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, there's a storm that happens, which is kind of funny because it's been really stormy near us lately. Tons and tons of wind. And the wind in the McAllister's neighborhood actually breaks a branch and shuts off the power to the neighborhood, which is the classic worst case scenario nightmare for anyone who needs to get up early and catch a flight.
Yep.
Everybody in the house sleeps in. Catherine O'Hara wakes up as the shuttle drivers are knocking on her door to pick them all up, family of 15. And so now she's freaking out. We slept in! All the parents are freaking out. The kids are trying to get ready. Everybody's rushing. Finally gets into the vans. Unfortunately, there's a miscount with a neighbor kid, and they all rush to the airport. Yeah. Thankfully, they've been able to make their plane. At the very last second, they all seemed very relieved that they actually made their flight and avert disaster for this trip. This is when we cut back to the house. That's now completely silent and empty, and Kevin is just waking up. And so this is the classic story of a kid being left at home. Unfortunately, his parents do not realize it until they're over the Atlantic.
Yep.
Kevin, at 8 years old, is now forced to fend for himself. In the beginning, he does whatever the hell he wants. He jumps on the bed. He watches trash movies like Angels with Filthy Souls, which is a fake film, just like in the second movie. Love that piece of trivia, that these aren't real movies, that they are actually filmed specifically for Home Alone.
So awesome.
He eats all the ice cream, he leaves everything out, but then he starts to really take care of himself. He goes and gets a new toothbrush, he buys groceries, but unfortunately, this is when he runs into Harry and Marv. Almost literally, because they almost run over Kevin. And so now, Kevin being home is starting to foil Harry and Marv's plans, but Harry and Marv are also scaring Kevin, and it's funny you talk about the furnace in your movie because there are a couple scenes where Kevin is very terrified of the furnace downstairs in his basement.
Yeah.
But Kevin realizes that the first time Harry and Marv try to break into his house, and he's able to actually scare them away with playing Angels with Filthy Souls and turning on all the lights, giving them the impression that there are a bunch of people there. And then the next night they come back, and this is a great scene where Kevin foils their plans again. I really, really like that scene. It's not a scene that people talk about a lot in this movie because then the physical comedy and the action come into play a couple minutes later. But I do really like that middle scene where he keeps them away from his home.
Definitely.
And so this is where we get classic Home Alone, where Kevin says, this is my house, I have to defend it. And he proceeds to set up a ton of booby traps in his home, which are all very brilliant. This movie only succeeds because of Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern, though. If they weren't as committed to the comedy aspect of it, the physicality of this movie, I don't think it would have done as well because it just wouldn't have been as funny. I laugh every single time I watch this film because what they are put through is absolutely hilarious. They're so good at it. I think my favorite one, even though I have to turn away, is the nail. God, that's the worst.
Oh, yeah. Terrible.
But the sequence of events that happens to Daniel Stern playing Marv are so fantastic. First, there's the iron, which is great. Then there's the nail, and then there's him screaming because of the tarantula, which I absolutely love that scream so much. He does such a great job.
Great.
Which the animal trainer told him he could not freak out or make a noise when the tarantula was put on him.
Oh, really?
Daniel Stern could only be convinced to do one take of this because he really didn't want to. He had to fake scream but not make any noise.
Oh, wow.
And then he went into a sound booth later and they dubbed it in.
No way.
Which
That's awesome.
Was so well done because I never would have caught it.
I would have no clue. It looks all authentic right there.
And then Joe Pesci tries to get into the house, and there's a barbecue. It's the object that helps heat your barbecue up. I remember a lot of neighbors having these things back in the day. And Kevin hangs it on the doorknob, and it gets the doorknob red hot metal.
Yes.
And Harry puts his hand on it and gives himself a brand on his hand. Just such a great scene. It's so hilarious. And there's also some stickiness and feathers involved, all culminating to a point where Marv and Harry have actually been trying to get into the house from two different directions, one the front door, one the back. And when they finally get inside the house, all the worse for wear actually, and reunite, I love these lines so much.
Marv!
Harry?
Why the hell did you take your shoes off?
Why the hell you dressed like a chicken?
And I love that this movie is unique in that it's not super funny at the beginning. There's a lot of serious setup. And then the second half of this movie is absolutely hilarious because so many times we talk about comedies starting off strong and then petering off, right? And just not being able to hold it together or stay consistently funny. And this movie is actually the opposite. It starts off, and especially if you didn't have a lot of context for this movie, when you watched it as a kid growing up, you're like, what's happening? And, oh, this kid's being left alone. Oh, no. And then it just gets hilarious. And I really like that order of operations for this film. And there's also, of course, the entire subplot of his family realizing that they left Kevin alone at home, and he's 8. His mom rightly freaking out. And then them all trying to get back home from Paris, but it's over the holidays, so all the flights are booked. Nobody wants to change their plans. Nobody wants to give her a standby ticket. It's a lot of work and a lot of stress for her to try to get home. She goes through a lot of different trials, and at one point she meets John Candy, the polka king of the Midwest, which is great. Yeah. He actually filmed all of his scenes in one very, very long day. He did it as a favor to John Hughes, who wrote the movie, and he improvised all of his lines.
That's so cool.
Which is a big deal because John Hughes was very particular about his scripts. He didn't want people deviating from them at all. But because he knew John Candy really well from working with him previously, especially on Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, he was okay with it. And John Candy was actually doing him a favor and only worked at scale. And so John Candy did all of his lines completely unscripted. And Catherine O'Hara, because she was such a seasoned, talented comedian, she was able to completely roll with it. And there's a moment when they're they're traveling together with his polka band where she's really wallowing in self-pity and shame, just saying, I'm a horrible mother. I left my kid at home, and John Candy tries to cheer her up, and it's a really great scene.
Tell me, have you ever gone on vacation and left your child home?
No. But I did leave one at a funeral parlor once. Yeah, it was terrible, too. You know, I was all distraught and everything, you know, the wife and I. We left the little tyke there in the funeral parlor all day. All day. You know, when we were back at night, when we came to our senses, and there he was. Apparently he was there alone all day with a corpse. Now, he was okay, you know, after 6-7 weeks. And I came around, started talking again. But he's okay. You know, they get over it. Kids are resilient like that.
Maybe we shouldn't talk about this.
You brought it up. I was just, trying to cheer you up.
Sorry, I did.
So that is Home Alone. Kevin McAllister, played by Macaulay Culkin, being left at home alone and trying to defend his house from Marv and Harry, burglars who are trying to break in, while his mother and the rest of his family struggle to get home and rescue him. I've been watching this movie since I was a kid, but I didn't watch it for a lot of years when I was in my late teens and 20s. I started watching it again in my 30s, and I just really love both of these movies. I think they hold up. They're really funny. They absolutely provide you with the Christmas spirit in a lot of ways. The soundtracks and scores are fantastic and definitely ones that I love to listen to during the month of December. And so before I get into a little bit more of the trivia, I'd love to hear from John about his recent revisit of this movie, which you watch every year, right?
I watch it every year, have for the last maybe 15 years. I have both of them on VHS. I now have the double Blu-ray.
Yes.
I've loved both of these movies for as long as I can remember. I think similar to you, I did not see it in theaters. I did see it either at a friend's house or my parents rented it or something like that in like early or late 1991, maybe even around Christmas time. And it just became a staple. It was it's always made me laugh. Like you said, all the physical comedy is hysterical. And as I'm getting older and I'm watching, and I know so many people nowadays like, yeah, Kevin sucks. Yeah, but so does everybody else. Like, they're literally just shitting on the kid. And it's
not a great
pretty
family
nuts.
dynamic.
No, and among Uncle Frank, and I understand, the young kid gets picked on and all of his cousins. I never had a cousin call me a disease. I don't have an older brother, so I can't relate to any of that. I have a younger sister, and I don't know if anybody else has ever experienced this, like with a cousin or whatnot. I used to see my cousins a lot when I was growing up, not so much anymore, but we're still in touch every now and then.
Yeah, I love my cousins. We always used to get along, I agree. And I will say, though, I have called you les incompetents before.
Yeah, once or twice. I believe my wife has also.
Of course.
But my cousins were on my mom's side. I never really knew my cousins very well on my dad's side. I have 3, I think. I think that's it. On my dad's side and on my mom's side, I had a lot more. Whoever you live closest to is who you're going to see the most.
No,
so
they were all jerks.
Oh, yeah, no. Well, not my cousins.
Sorry, no,
talking about
Home cousins.
Talking about cousins in the movie, yes,
No.
they were all really lame. And even in Home Alone 2, they also still suck towards Kevin. So, even watching it this time, just for the podcast's sake, I was trying to put my mind in like one of the adults' mindset, and I really couldn't because they all just sucked. And
well, there's one scene though when Kevin is in his mom's bedroom and she's on the phone, and she said, "Kevin, go pack," and he goes, "Why don't you get off the phone and make me?" And I'm all, okay, not cool.
Get off the phone and make me, why don't you?
Yeah.
No, totally.
Like, okay, I can see why they're fed up with it.
Certainly. But overall, minus all of that, it's just it's a crazy, outlandish story, and it still works to this day for, I think, the time that it came out. I don't know how a movie like this would do these days. I really don't know.
Well,
but I do know a lot of people are still fans of this one and the second one, and nobody ever talks about the subsequent ones that followed number 2.
No, we absolutely will not talk about any of those, but I will say that is one piece of the story that I forgot to mention, is that not only has the power been knocked out the previous night, but all of the phone systems are still down. And so anybody trying to call into the home to get a hold of Kevin isn't working. And so that is an integral piece of this story in order for it to work. Whereas these days, you'd FaceTime the kid on their iPad.
Yep, exactly.
So I don't think
the scene,
unless you forget him in a cabin in the middle of the woods.
Right.
Which would be a great horror movie.
Yeah, that would be.
And then the kid has to defend themselves and their home from the creepy crawlies while their family tries to get back to them.
Yeah, that not a bad idea.
All right, copyright that right now.
Okay. But there is a scene in this movie that I've not liked over the last 10, 15 years, and it's when his mom calls the cops in Chicago, and the cops are so nonchalant about it. Like, oh, so wait, you want us to go over and check in on your son? It's like, yeah, get the fuck off your ass and go do your job and check in on a kid that's been left alone. You never know what's going to happen. He could hurt himself, whatever. And these cops, of course, have no idea that Harry and Marv are trying to rob the entire street. And there's a line that Harry drops when they're both kind of doing a little of a stakeout of the neighborhood. And Harry goes, "See that one over there, Marv? Oh, yeah, CD players, VCRs. I'm just like, dude, nobody's going for that stuff anymore. But back then, those things were like $500 freaking.
Yeah.
So you could totally get a lot of money for those if you sold them on the black market, which they were likely planning to do, or pawn them even.
So I will say, just this is great. I wasn't even going to include this piece of trivia in our discussion today, but since you mentioned it,
Oh, yeah.
many people think that the film is unrealistic in its portrayal of how the police would respond when she called them.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Yeah.
John Hughes and Chris Columbus actually consulted with a local police officer named Jeff Jefferson and co-wrote all of the police scenes with him.
What?
They were totally confident that this was realistic, that people were going to accept this scene, and they were completely confused with the audience reaction, which was your reaction.
Yeah.
In what the hell, why wouldn't the cops take this seriously? Well,
Right.
5 years later, Officer Jeff Jefferson was arrested for child neglect, having left his own children alone for the previous 6 years.
Whoa.
So that's why that scene doesn't make sense,
Wow.
even though they consulted with the police, because that cop actually didn't give a shit.
Damn. That
So
is pretty insane.
But yeah, that's
Wow.
a piece of
I
trivia.
thought you were going to go into the VCR prices or something. I did not see that coming. That is something else.
Yes, that is, you would think an unrealistic scene, but in fact, not at all.
Not at all. Crazy. And the cop eating the donut like, has your son been involved in something where there's bodily harm? Has your son...
No, I just need someone to check on him. All right, hold please.
And then she's like, oh, hi, ma'am. It's you again. Like, yeah, she's still on the fucking phone. Go check up on this kid. That's great. So, yes, I'm a big fan of Home Alone and Home Alone 2. Major fan will always be. And I think Amy puts up with them. She's not the biggest fan of these ones.
Yes, my father's the same way. He doesn't
I was
think it's
sitting here
funny
laughing,
that...
and she just looking at me like, you've seen this. I'm like, I don't care. It's like the same thing with Peter Pan and Captain Hook. I always laugh my entire ass off because it's still funny.
Yeah, I am more than happy to laugh at comedies I've seen before.
Yes.
Well, I'm really glad that you like it, and yes, we can celebrate the 2-part collection because we're not going to talk about any of the subsequent Home Alone movies because they're awful. But the 2 with Macaulay Culkin are fantastic, and they also are written by John Hughes. This is surprisingly the 4th movie of John Hughes that I've picked, especially because we often say we're not fans of his. In reality, though, I don't think I will pick another movie that he has written.
Oh, I think this is where the buck stops for me in John Hughes. Although, I say Buck. I do like Uncle Buck. But other than that...
Speaking of Macaulay Culkin and John Candy being
right,
in that film.
Ferris and Pretty in Pink. I still have not seen Pretty in Pink or
Planes,
16
Trains,
Candles.
and Automobiles is pretty awesome.
Planes, Trains is always great. That's a Thanksgiving watch every year for me, too. But other than that, John Hughes movies are just...
He did write the greatest Christmas movie of all time, though, because he wrote Christmas Vacation.
That's true, he did.
My first Christmas pick for our very first year.
Yes.
He also wrote Home Alone 2 and 101 Dalmatians recently.
That's right.
Which stars Glenn Close, and just watched her in Wake Up Dead Man, the new Knives Out movie. John Hughes also wrote the original Vacation, which is great, Mr. Mom, 16 Candles, Weird Science, Pretty in Pink, and the Beethoven movies.
Beethoven. Charles Grodin and Bonnie Hunt.
Chris Columbus, on the other hand, he's a great director. I love most of his work. Not only did he also direct the sequel to this film, he directed The Christmas Chronicles 2, the one that came out recently. The first 2 Harry Potter movies, The Sorcerer's Stone and The Chamber of Secrets. He also directed Mrs. Doubtfire.
Yeah.
And a little bit about the making of this film. Everyone on set was amazed with how mature and professional Macaulay Culkin was. Not only Chris Columbus and John Hughes, but also Joe Pesci. He told Entertainment Weekly, Mac is not like a 9-year-old. He's an old man already. Well, unfortunately, he had to be because we find out later on that his dad treated him and his siblings like garbage. And so, unfortunately, he had to grow up very early. But thankfully, he's been emancipated and so have his siblings. And now they are doing very well. And the role of Kevin was specifically written for Macaulay Culkin by John Hughes.
Oh, that's cool.
After he had been in Uncle Buck. And Chris Columbus actually pushed back on this and required several hundred other boys to audition. But after seeing all the other auditions, he admitted that Macaulay was actually the best one for the role and hired him.
Nice.
And this was actually not the first John Hughes script that Chris Columbus was hired for.
Oh.
John Hughes had asked him to direct Christmas Vacation.
That's right.
But after Chris met Chevy Chase, it became clear to Chris that the two of them would not get along. So he asked John Hughes if there were any other projects he could work on instead, and Home Alone was that movie.
Awesome.
Which now, being in the 21st century, we totally understand Chris Columbus's problem.
Yes, we do.
John Hughes, while writing the script, he has a philosophy of pain is funny, which it can be.
Oh, yeah.
And so everyone tried to make the stunts look as painful as possible. But the stunts looked so realistic that the crew didn't ever laugh, and most of them couldn't even look at the camera monitor because they were so afraid that the stuntmen were really hurting themselves to get these scenes.
Oh, wow.
Thankfully, that never happened. Nobody was injured on the set of Home Alone. The stunt team tried really hard to fall backwards through the air as high as they possibly could, to a point where, and they do, oh God, those falls are great.
Yes, I actually know that stunt player of Joe Pesci's. I worked with him on NCIS LA for 3.5 years.
Oh, fantastic. How was he? What was his name?
Oh, he was awesome. His name was Troy. He was really badass. He always drove the cars that were about to be blown up and into the crazy car accident scenes that we did. And years ago, when Netflix dropped that documentary series on movies we love or something like that, he was interviewed as being Joe Pesci's stunt double for both of the movies. I was like, shit, that's awesome.
Oh, we should message him.
It's not a bad idea.
Well, he did such a great job on those falls that they were called the Home Alone stunt moving forward for years. And speaking of stunt doubles, Macaulay Culkin's was not a child. It was a very short 30-year-old man. Which is good. No children were hurt in the making of this film either.
That's always good.
And the nice thing is that Macaulay Culkin had a lot of support on set, even though he didn't get much at home, unfortunately, when he was growing up. Catherine O'Hara and he became super close to a point that Macaulay Culkin still calls her mom.
Aww.
And she was the one who introduced him and talked about him for his Hollywood star.
Oh, cool.
Just in the recent, I think in the last year or two. And he calls her mom in his speech as well. And I love that they still have a great relationship.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And I love it whenever anyone can reduce, reuse, or recycle. I can tell you that the wax and plastic snow used for Home Alone was given to the Lyric Opera of Chicago, and it has since been used in numerous opera productions.
Very cool.
So it was not the asbestos snow like the ones used in The Wizard of Oz.
Oh, yes.
Speaking of your movie.
Yeah.
Home Alone is actually considered a traditional Christmas movie in Poland.
Oh, really?
It is aired on national television during primetime Christmas season every year since it came out.
Nice.
In 2010, the movie was scheduled not to air in Poland, but was finally broadcast after 90,000 people protested.
Whoa.
In 2011, when the movie aired on December 23rd, an audience of over 5 million tuned in, making it the most popular show aired during the Christmas season in Poland.
That's awesome.
We need to go to Poland over Christmas time and watch Home Alone.
Hell yeah.
And a really cool connection to your movie, actually, is the cinematographer Giulio Macat used A Christmas Story, your pick this week, as inspiration for the look of this movie.
Oh, cool.
It was one of the last major productions to use carbon arc lighting. Macat felt like it gave a warmer and richer light, which it does. This movie has a very specific hue to it. No pun intended. Which adds to the feeling of Christmas. But a lot of productions stopped using these lights because they could only operate for about 20 minutes at a time and required an exhaust system when used indoors. They got really, really, really hot. They were like halogen lighting, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And so that's why you don't get that feel or vibe through a lot of movies these days. That lighting just isn't used anymore. They need to find a replacement, though, because I just love the tone of this movie. Guess the budget of Home Alone.
Budget of Home Alone, $25 million.
You're close, $18 million.
18, all right.
Because John Candy worked for scale, they didn't think that they could even afford John Williams, but he watched a cut of this film and called it enchanting, and so cut his fee in order to work on it and make the score.
Oh, that's
for it.
awesome.
So on an $18 million budget, this movie did very, very well. In the U.S., it made $286 million.
Damn.
It made $478 million worldwide on an $18 million budget.
Whoa. Goodness gracious.
It became the highest box office grossing comedy of all time.
Wow.
Until 2016 when Deadpool came out.
Oh, wow.
And now it's number 9 on the list, which is still pretty good.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I wanted to save this for last because this is a question that comes up all the time whenever anyone talks about this movie or its sequel, but mostly this one. Everybody always talks about how the hell did Kevin's parents afford this house, this trip? What did they do for a living? Everybody always asks that, which is a fair question. Everybody always joked that Kevin's dad was a quote-unquote importer, right? Everybody always jokes. But in fact, Chris Columbus revealed in an interview with The Hollywood Reporter that he and John Hughes had conversations about what his parents did for a living. Kate McAllister, played by Catherine O'Hara, his mom, was a very successful fashion designer. Hence all of the mannequins in the house.
Ah, okay.
And that Peter, his father, played by John Hurd, worked in advertising.
Oh, all right. Makes sense.
So that is how his parents afford that very lavish house, that very nice trip to Paris. And that is Home Alone, a movie that came out in 1990, a movie that John and I still absolutely love 35 years later.
Yeah.
Crazy to think of that. I'm so happy to hear that you watch it and its sequel during Christmas time like I do. I hope you all enjoy this movie too. Let us know if you prefer the original or the sequel.
Yes.
And you can watch both the Home Alone movies and John's movie this week if you have a Disney Plus subscription.
Hell yeah.
So those are our first Christmas picks of the 2025 season. We hope you are having a very Merry Christmas Eve if you celebrate it. If you don't, that's okay. You can celebrate John's 40th birthday instead.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, John, if you would watch A Christmas Story with your grandma.
Oh, yeah. Definitely did. Many, many times.
Fabulous.
Yes, it was a staple in my house growing up. Absolutely. And V, you watched Home Alone with your grandmother, I imagine?
Probably. It wasn't really a staple in our house because my dad doesn't really like these movies, but I did watch it a lot when I was a kid, and now when I'm an adult, I still watch it a lot.
Awesome.
I want to know if my nieces have seen Home Alone or its sequel. Gotta introduce it to them if they haven't.
Likewise, I don't know if mine have yet, but I would like to introduce my nieces to it as well.
Yeah, I think Lauren needs to be just a tiny bit older.
Probably 8 years old, I would say.
Yeah, I would think so too. Well, John, since there is one more week of the month of December, do you want to tell our audience what other Christmas movies we're doing this month?
Yeah, why not? I am doing what I've normally done here at Movies Miss Podcast to wrap up the Christmas season. I'm doing another rendition of A Christmas Carol based off the Charles Dickens novel. This one is a TV movie from 1999 starring Patrick Stewart and Richard E. Grant. This is A Christmas Carol. And if you care to check it out, it is currently streaming on the TBS. TBS is still around.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, or the TNT app, or you can rent it on Prime. I've had a DVD copy of it for the last 20 years. And do my best to watch this rendition every year as well as the other ones that I've done, but sometimes that doesn't always work out. So it'll be fun revisiting this one since it's been about 2 years for me.
Great. I've only ever seen it one time, so I'm really excited to revisit it, especially now that you've gotten me into the Christmas Carol story movie and its movies. And so I'm really excited to see how this one holds up, especially to The Muppet Christmas Carol, which is still number one in my book.
And V, what are you doing next week?
I went classic this year.
Yeah, you did.
Because I chose a movie from 1946 starring Jimmy Stewart. It is my ex's all-time favorite movie.
Oh.
That's how I was introduced to it, because I actually didn't see it when I was growing up.
I did not either.
I only saw this movie for the first time in my 20s. It's a great film, wonderful message. This is It's a Wonderful Life.
Sweet.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even mean to make that pun.
Yeah, I didn't know if you did or not.
But if you want to follow along, you can stream it on Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us during this holiday episode. We hope you are all staying safe and warm, and tune in next week for our next Christmas holiday movie discussion. Until then, we love to end this podcast with film is a form of art, and in art, every opinion is valid. Except if you think
V and I don't need a new slogan since we are now over the age of 40.
That's right.
I
promise your 40s are great. And
my 30s were great. We'll see what happens in the next 10 years.
Yes, we will. And happy birthday from me and all of our listeners.
Thank you so much.
All right. Until next week, Merry Christmas, everybody.
Yes, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and we'll see you right before the new year.